So I'll be talking about the lungs, the location of the lungs, the anatomy of the lungs, and other key aspects of the lungs. So here's the picture right here. And in this picture, I have labeled the apex, the lobes, the fissures, the hilum, and the root of both lungs, along with the cardiac notch of the left lung. So to start off, first and foremost, the lungs are located inside the rib cage on either side of the thorax or the chest cavity. Well, yeah, they're located on either side of the thorax, and they're against the rib cage. So they'll be behind this, but they're against the rib cages in the chest cavity or the thorax cavity or the thorax. So here I have labeled the apex, which is located right here. We have the superior lobe right here, the inferior lobe, and the middle lobe, which is on this side right here. Located right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Also have the fissures, which is the oblique fissure, which is right here. Oblique fissure is also down here. And then you have the horizontal fissure. And then the root of the lung is located right here, which is circling the veins and the arteries of the lungs. And then the hilum is located right here. Now, for the serous membranes of the lung, the membrane is the pleural membrane, and it lines the thoracic cavity, and it also surrounds the lungs. And the pleural serous membrane has two layers, which is parietal layer and the visceral layer. The parietal layer lines the walls of the body cavity. When you think about parietal, just think about perimeter, the walls of the cavity, and periet refers to cavity wall. So we can remember that would be to think about perimeter. Parietal, perimeter, parietal, perimeter. Visceral, the visceral layer is a very thin fluid-filled serous space of the cavity. So you have the parietal layer and the visceral layer, and the lung is surrounded by the pleural serous membrane. The arteries of the lung is the pulmonary artery along the bronchial artery. The pulmonary artery carries the oxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs, and the bronchial artery supplies lungs with nutrition and oxygenated blood. So pulmonary is deoxygenated blood, and bronchial is oxygenated blood. The veins of the lung is also pulmonary veins and bronchial veins. The pulmonary veins transfer oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart, and the bronchial veins are small veins which return deoxygenated blood back to the system's venous pool. So for the right pool, it'll be the azygos vein, and for the left pool, it'll be the hemiazygos vein. So right azygos, left hemiazygos. Lastly, for the innervation of the lungs, it is the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nerves, which originate in a nerve plexus that's inside of the thoracic cavity.